you treat me like I am your queen. The next day we break up, you walk out and leave. I can't figure out why we argue and fight, 'cause somehow you be at my crib by the night. Because I always want you in my bed, because you steady creeping in my head. And it don't ever...
What started your music journey? Tell me about it.
Honestly, I say this every time, but it started on a karaoke machine at my grandma's house. I started out singing Vietnamese songs because that's the first language I spoke. My grandparents helped take care of me while my mom was at work. So I started out singing Vietnamese songs and then went on to my mom's and aunts and stuff's karaoke machine. So then I was learning all the oldies, the classics like Mariah Carey and Madonna and all that.
Yes.
So I have them to thank for my versatile music taste.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I discovered YouTube and SoundCloud and Spotify, I started listening to pop and R&B and all EDM too.
I love that. How old were you when you first started making music?
I started songwriting end of 2020, but my songs released in 2021. So by now it's been about 2-3 years. But I've been playing instruments since I was young, singing since I was young, but songwriting just recently.
What are your biggest music inspirations?
Definitely Jhené Aiko. That's my
Yes.
girl. I love Jhené.
Mm-hmm.
I want to collab with her. I just like everything about her as a person. Aside from her dope music, I really resonate with her as a person and her beliefs. And I really like all the female R&B artists like Kehlani, Doja Cat,
Yes.
her, SZA. And even though I don't rap, all the hip-hop artists, all the rappers, a lot of EDM artists are my inspirations. I take a little bit of everything. I feel like right now I primarily have R&B out, but I have a lot of other stuff in the mix, a lot of other stuff I would branch out and try as well.
I love that.
Yeah.
Was there ever a time you feel like you questioned your decision to be a part of the music industry, or you were just like, ugh, over it, or anything like that?
Honestly, no, because it's always been something I liked. So it wasn't ever oh, I'm doing this because my mom wants it, or I'm doing this because I want fame or money.
Yeah.
It's because it's just fun doing it. So it's an intrinsic reward for me, and it stems from just pure passion. Yeah.
Awesome. What genre do you categorize your music as being?
I say sensual a lot of the time, because I don't feel like I strictly make R&B or just EDM or hip hop or pop. I feel like I take elements of everything. It could be a hip hop rap beat and I'll bring R&B or an Afro beat sort of flow. You know what I mean? I'll just incorporate different elements of everything. But most that I resonate with would be R&B.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. So it's a little bit of everything in each of your songs?
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. What would you say is your biggest challenge or obstacle as a musician?
I'd say being a female in the industry. They talk about that all the time, but even starting out, all the bigger artists talk about that, and I'm sure they get it on a whole nother caliber. But even being at my level, growing my way up, I had to kind of decipher a lot between who's genuinely trying to work with me and who has other intentions.
Yeah.
So honestly, I feel like having a boyfriend makes it a little bit easier, because it's, it kind of wards away malintentions, but at the same time it shows you who really doesn't care out here, Sometimes they don't really take you seriously as a female artist, and they just see you as a female and they do what they want with that. So I'm trying to kind of walk that fine line between hey, making friends strictly for business and not off of an appearance or flirtation or anything
For sure.
other than platonic. Yeah.
So do you feel like you have to fight a little bit harder because you are a female?
Definitely, because it's just kind of sometimes they don't always listen to you and what you have to say.
Yeah.
It's just kind of how you look and how you're gonna perform on stage, and no, I want you to listen to me and my music,
Mm-hmm.
So it's yeah.
Is there something you do outside of music that helps your creative process, like a hobby or activity? Smoking, drinking?
Definitely. So I definitely don't partake in like drinking too often just because I'm a lightweight, you know, I get Asian glow. But smoking is my
Your
choice of
go-to.
poison, yes.
I love that.
Yeah. And aside from that, no, I get a lot of my creativity from smoking. Every time I songwrite, every time I'm in the studio, I'm listening to beats on YouTube, I'm faded.
I love that. So you said you've been doing a lot of podcasts and interviews. Let's dive into that.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit of like the projects you've been doing lately? Like you just had a radio interview.
Yes, I did.
Can you tell me about that?
That just aired today on KUCI FM. It was on 88.9. It was super exciting because they played 2 of my songs and like interviewed me about my music. Because some podcasts that I've been on, they're just like reading drama Reddit stories, you know, like am I the asshole, and it's like haha reaction videos. But then these recent ones have actually been about MLE and my music, so I'm finally starting to like put myself and my music out there, and people are learning about like the artists and my journey behind it as well.
I love that.
Yeah.
What specific audience do you gear your music towards?
I'd say the gals, the more mature audiences. Like some of my songs, I'm like, you know, I'm glad my family doesn't have Spotify because like they don't need to be hearing some of this, you know?
Some of the sexy ones.
Yeah, they're like, is it on YouTube? I'm like, no, but I'll let you know if it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, like they're like, why don't you invite me to your performances? I'm like, one day, you know, when the time's right, when the song and crowd is right, I will. So yeah, I tend to gear towards the more mature, sensual, sexual crowd.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's a good crowd.
Thanks.
Have you performed live before?
Literally, I'd say I started performing at this studio in Long Beach called House and Mimosas. It's an incredible event. But I kind of started to like gain a little bit of performance confidence then, because the first time everyone was super welcoming. Second time I was like familiar with it and it was getting a little popping. So that grew, and then I finally got a little bit of like performance videos, so other people started noticing. They're like, hey, like I want to book you for this show, like hey, I liked your performance video. And it also helped my fans because people who like couldn't come out to see me, they would still kind of engage with me or like live it through the videos that I post. So they're always like, oh, I'm looking forward to you posting it even though I can't make it. So it's been awesome. Yeah, performing live, I've been getting a lot of practice.
That's awesome. So you feel more confident because of that?
Yeah, I definitely dealt with like stage fright a lot back then.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is there any like specific messages or meanings you want your audience and listeners to take away from your music?
I'd say a big thing I want to promote is positivity and love, whatever form that may be in. I also am a big believer in like karma, or just like what you put out there, what goes around comes around, you know what I mean? Put out what you want to receive back. So I want to put out love and light in my music.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What is the biggest, most important lesson you've learned as an artist?
Honestly, my big motto when it comes to being an artist is just staying true to myself, because I see a lot of people who kind of put on a facade and it seems like, you know, it detaches this passion from it, and it's like, who are you really doing this for? You know, you lose that drive. So I just try to always focus on like staying true to what I want. And I don't know if it's me being a Taurus, being like stubborn, but I'm just kind of like set in my ways, or my extensive music background. It's not that I won't take criticism or feedback from others. Like I'll definitely listen to what people have to say if I respect them in their craft. But if it's other people, I'm just kind of like, I don't care, I'm gonna do it my way.
Yeah.
So I feel like when it comes to like record labels or people asking me like, hey, are you interested in having a manager? Has anyone talked to you about contracts? I'm like, yeah, but if I were to even consider a contract, I would need this, and that. Like up front, I'm a student, I do this, that. I want to drop my own music. I'm like a freelance videographer and I play instruments, so I want to have a lot of creative range when it comes to what I do, and I don't always trust other people when it comes to touching my stuff. So that's kind of what I focus on the most.
So I want to dive into your music. One of my favorite singles from you is called Last Time. Let's talk about it. Can you tell me your creative process when making that song, or the lyrics or the meaning?
Always acting like it's the last time, but you always change my mind just one last time. Go through it all again. Don't want this shit to end.
Yeah, yeah, Last Time was my debut single. So, of course, a rough breakup, a catalyst, sent me on a catalyst into my songwriting career. I graduated high school 2020, and that was COVID year.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was quarantine. I was like in a weird transition from high school to college. I went through a breakup. So it was like a good time to just hone in and start songwriting.
Yeah.
I was just fucking around with my friend. He's like, oh, my Logic trial expired. Like, can I use your MacBook? I'm like, sure. And he's like, wait, like, don't you sing? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, hop on this chorus. And it was fire. So I bought that shit and kept using it on my MacBook. And then the first, like, I was just going through YouTube Beats, and that one was like a very traditional sounding, like 2000s early R&B song to me, and that's my favorite genre. So I was like, oh, this is the one. I wrote to it seamlessly, had a little melody, and then I think I started repeating Last Time, and then it made me think about my toxic relationship, just kind of like a loop. Every time you think it's the last time, it's not. And I dealt with that. Like, it was a very on and off relationship, the breakup I just went through. So wrote that song, broke up with him, and then went on my songwriting journey.
Yeah, you're like, thanks for that breakup. I just came out with a really good song because of you.
Exactly.
What inspires your songwriting?
It stemmed from my breakup, and a lot of it has to deal with my experiences with love. So even if it's not always the positive kind of love that I'm talking about, you know, I'm talking about all the sadness and like the hardships that come with it too, because it's not always freaking sunflowers and hugs, you know. So I talk about like the cheating aspects, like checking on their phone, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm crazy. Like, I'll check on people's stuff.
As you
And
should.
yeah, the toxicity shows in my music, but then, you know, I'll talk about all the healthy love that I deserve, and, you know, just always remembering, like, protect your peace, don't stay with that toxic shit.
How has music changed your life overall?
It just brings joy to my life. Like, I cannot help but dance when I hear music. Sometimes people look at me like, damn, you got so much energy. It's like, damn, no, the music is still just playing. Like, how are you not moving? It'll be like my foot tapping or like my head or something unconsciously, and it's not even like I'm trying to like get down on the dance floor. It's just subconsciously I'll kind of just move something. And but it definitely helps me through, like I said, like realizing some real ass advice. I'm like, yeah, I can relate to that. It helps me in my situation. I should get the fuck out of that. Or like, this is what I want to achieve for myself. I'll keep listening to it and motivate myself, or serve as inspiration for me. So anything like good and bad, I think it helps heal me. It definitely brightens up any type of mood. Or in music, theatrics, music makes everything. Yeah.
I love that.
Mm-hmm. Hey y'all, my name is MLE. I'm a singer-songwriter from OC, and you can find me at MLE on all platforms. Thank you, Antidote 41, for having me. It was a blast. Always acting like this the last time, but you always change my mind just one last time. Go through it all again. Don't want this shit to end.